Okay, before we get started, I want to state an announcement. Now, don't worry, it's not a bad one. I am going to be doing 3 videos, one probably once a week, and it will be the state of either, I don't know, I think this might be the AEW one, the state of AEW, the state of TKO WWE or WWE, I don't know which one I'm going to make, and the state of TNA. Now, I won't be able to make them all in 1 week, mainly due to the fact of what's going to happen in Thanksgiving. So this week, I should be releasing one by maybe the middle to the, maybe Thursday or Friday, I should have it done. And that's before Turning Point, because I am going to be doing Turning Point. But I thought I'd let you guys know that I will be making a video. Now, what did we get in this show? This show was chaotic again. Now, comparing to AEW in Full Gear, and I'm not covering much, they had chaos, but so did NXT. And I gotta say that this chaos was more focused than the chaos in AEW, which I will elaborate more on my state of AEW. I'll say this, the show wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. If you didn't like it, I can understand, because it is obvious. You can tell that the way the show is being booked isn't what HBK will book. Let's make this clear. There are people who like HBK's booking because it's not extravagant, it's not elegant, it's not like elaborate, it's just basic 101 booking. That's what he does. Throws a little bit of his best friend's attitude of the black and gold, a little bit of his former boss. He mushes them together and then adds a little sprinkle of himself. And that's what you get in NXT. That's how it's always been. That's how it was good and also bad. That's just how it was. But now it's not the same. You could tell that it's trying to become just like the main roster. Very cookie cutter. And that's a major issue for me personally, because I'd rather see it have bad downs and some good ups and variation compared to what the main roster has. It's just me. I know it's not great, but it is better in some cases than the main roster has been lately. Let's start with Ethan Page dealing with Axiom as the Iron Survivor is going to be pretty interesting this year. Seeing that Axiom was going up against Ethan Page, it wasn't a bad match. But I did not expect Axiom to win, and he did not. But what was very interesting was, again, them throwing out the tease of Axiom and Frazier possibly breaking up. And due to the fact that Ethan was stirring that damn pot, making it very clear that Axiom is the one that held them both together. But Nathan almost said out his damn mouth, Axiom was not the one that held them together, I am. And he had to stop himself because he caught himself. And when Axiom was looking at him like, what the fuck you doing? That was the look he gave. He made it very clear, no, you're not going to mess with us. Now, later in the night, next to the tag division tearing itself apart, and let's be honest, this tag division is actually better than main roster's tag division. At least they're all there and they're doing something. Because look at what we got in the main roster for Raw and SmackDown. There's almost nothing there. Nothing. And yes, they are doing something with the War Raiders. I'm glad. They are doing something with, when it came to, have I always been invested in the Street Profits? Yeah. I always thought that they should break up at least once and brought back together. Montez Ford just has something big. Angelo Dawkins is a good wrestler. He is. He also has a good personality, but Montez Ford is better. It is obvious, but they have not broke them up yet. And now what's going on with the New Day, and I did watch Raw, I just didn't want to do a review of it, and I saw when they finally got into each other's faces, something that I believe was needed for both of them, because it has been so many years, it's been 10 years since they've been together, and no E, and they've been teasing it for what? 8 to 9 months, I think. I can't remember how long they've been teasing. No, not 8 to 9 months. 5 months, I say, easily. 4 or 5 months, easily. They've been teasing Xavier Woods having a problem with Kofi Kingston when Final Testament was screwing with them. But it was obvious they had to go there. So, seeing this tag division as a tag division has been more entertaining than it would be on the main roster. It doesn't make a difference. You like it or not. I may not always like it, but this is what you got. Now, next, Lola Vice versus Red Sinclair. This had to end in only one way. Red Sinclair was sacrificed to Lola Vice with that back fist to the titty. Right here. This is where she hit her. At least that's from the angle. She didn't get her here. She didn't get her here. She didn't get her here. She got her right on the chest. And she is setting up for the Underground with Jada Parker. I can understand they're being very exclusive for who they're going to be using this with. If it's just Lola because of her MMA background, actually a good thing. Because if they make it exclusive to one person, kind of like what happened with The Abyss and Monsters Ball, I think that might be an interesting. Hell, you never know that might have been an inspiration for Jada to be dealing with Lola, because Lola, since she is an MMA fighter, she might be the best person to do that next to some of the other MMA fighters that are there. If they make it exclusive only to her, that actually would be something that I could get behind, because they're not going to let all the men do it, not going to let all the women. It may just become exclusive to one person. And I think that might actually help her, because look what happened with The Undertaker with Hell in a Cell. Look what happened with Foley. Look what happened with Sting. It's certain things that they did, and only they did, that got them over. You never know, they may go there with Lola Vice. Moving on. And let me give it to you like this. North American Championship. Shawn Spears. Tony D'Angelo. Did I believe that Tony was going to lose? No. We're too close to deadline. We're 1 week away from deadline, and the last show before deadline, I didn't expect him to lose here. But I am kind of disappointed. No, I'm actually disappointed, because you could have left this match for deadline. Give Shawn Spears a rub there. Give Brooks Jensen a rub there. Give Tony D a rub there. But no, they decided to do it here. Now, if there is a match for Tony D, fine. But if there's no match and they just let us have it here, I feel it's a waste of time. But then it's still a waste of time, because who is Tony D going to go up against in 1 week? You could have left it for Shawn on deadline. I just feel like it's a waste of time. Moving on. Now, the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier. Kiani Jordan versus a... Did you think this was going to go any other way? Did you think they're going to let Julia, a well-renowned wrestler who has been everywhere, is going to job out to Kiani Jordan, who, honestly, I've never been 100% behind, but I never said she was bad. I'm making it very clear. I'm not a fan of Kiani, but I'm not. But it doesn't mean she hasn't done some decent work. I just believed that she really hasn't had great storytelling over the time that she's been on the main roster for NXT, not working in the Performance Center. Now, doesn't mean she hasn't tried. I just think she just hasn't had good storytelling. That's why I haven't been a big fan of her. Did they both do good jobs? Yes. But let's be honest. There was no way after that back fist and then getting caught was she going to actually win. And she didn't, and she got her ass pinned. And what do we get? We get a... This is where I'm frustrated. Because we got Stephanie Vaquer. We now have Julia. We now have Zara. I think that's her name, Zara. We got 3 women. Not counting when maybe Jordan Grace may show up once in a while. Because Zara did nail Jordan Grace, so there may be a match between them. So that could be a 3 women and a kind of part-timer woman that's from another company. And there's no story behind them. 3 women with no general stories other than the Iron Survivor Challenge. And I'm like, really? You should have never brought them in like this. You should have brought them in early, or you should have brought them in one at a time over the next... I mean, I know you can't just keep them in back permanently. You could have brought in 2 women and then wait until the next year, like over at Royal Rumble, which would have been good. You could have, this is how you could have done it. Julia could have been brought in. She would be all by herself until December. Then Stephanie Vicaire could be brought out. And then when it comes to the Royal Rumble, you could have brought in Zarya. There you go, Zarya. That's what you could have done. But no, you brought them all in within 2 months. And you got no story for any of them other than the Iron Survivor. And it just feels clusterfuck. I'm sorry. Moving on. Let me say this. When it comes to the women's, I'm not going to say Fallon Henley was bad and Tatum Paxley. I'm not. It's fun. There was a lot of good match there. But knowing full well that the main reason this match happened wasn't because they wanted to give a good match for Fallon Henley or Tatum Paxley. It was for Gigi Golan to come back. And look, I like Gigi. I always did. I've always liked her out of Toxic Attraction. Yeah, I do remember this time. I remember the name of Toxic Attraction. That was before that she came out with those boobies like here and whooping some ass. Fine. But then it's like, what are you going to get with it now? We're going to get a tag match. Probably get either next week on the last show before Deadline or Deadline itself. And I'm like, that kind of sucks. You kind of devalued a little bit of the Women's North American Championship. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, let's go through some of the story we got here. Did I like the story of Shantae Adonis, Petrovic, and a little taste of my woman? Yes, I know you're going to say, oh, you only picked her because she's thick. She built. Look, I'm not going to tell you that Kiani Lyons is not gorgeous. She is. I'm not going to say that she ain't thick, because she is. But I will fight you if you actually believe that she doesn't have skill in the ring. That she does have personality, taking away her titties and ass. She has skill in the ring. She has personality. She is an actual martial artist that knows how to use nunchakus and probably can't kick your head off. I will tell you that at least she has personality more than most women on the roster. That's just how it is. Did I like the story of seeing Shantae getting rejected by Petrovic, Carmen? Yeah. The question is, how far they're going to go with it and when will they actually get together? Nikita's my girl. If I could have Nikita, I'd try my best to make her happy, even though she'd probably be bored with me in a minute. I'm a boring guy, okay, guys? I'm doing wrestling reviews, okay? I'm boring. Let's move on. Next, Chase U. A little bit of snippets of Chase U. Seeing Andre Chase sad. Seeing that he is just reminiscing about what Chase U stood for and what he gained from it. And as he walks out of the classroom for the last time and he goes up the hallway, he's called by someone, Andre Chase. And he looks back and goes, don't know who it is. And don't tell me who it is. I'm saying it right now. If I hear anyone there, I'm going to get angry at you. I don't want to know, okay? Do not tell me who it is. Next, we get the parking lot brawl. Did I like it? Yes. I know I spoke about it earlier, about the fights and the chaos and stuff. Did I? I did mess up a video earlier. I will say this, the fight and chaos for the tag division is way better. Just in case I didn't say it earlier, at least we get this better than the main roster. Now, let me give it to you like this. Trick Williams with Rich Holland and now a returning, well, kind of not returning, but debuting Eric Bischoff on NXT. Okay. They want to try and do some intrigue before Deadline. They want to bring in Eric to make them want to hate one another. And did I like the segment in the ring with Trick talking about Chase U, talking about the people that came before, including a Carmelo Hayes. He didn't want to say it, but he had to say it because he is a champion just like him. It was good. Was it great? No, but it was good until Eric appeared. And since Eric doesn't generally deal with the WWE, well, TKO WWE anymore, seeing that he's going to be on NXT is going to be a big deal to most people. So they will watch, because it's going to depend on what Eric is going to be doing. Finally, what I'm going to talk about, did they finally... I'm like flabbergasted. I know people would say, dude, they've done stuff with him before. Not like this. Finally, they're giving Eddie a build. A real build. Something that can be different than what we've been getting. Look, has he been showing his Native American heritage? Yes. Has he been showing that he's been a DJ? Yes. He's been showing that he's been a good guy all this time? Yes. He went through Dijak. Yes. He went through everyone. But we've never got any real death where he gets so pissed that he's just acting out. And now someone got hurt. Because, as you saw, that he tried to confront Ava now twice on the show. And then the second time when the fight was about to happen, he grabs Ava by the wrist because he's saying, look, this is unfair. I've been screwed over. Come on. Every time when it's time for me to get somewhere, I've been screwed over. And then you give everyone opportunities and I'm not getting shit. Come on. And this time, the first one, when Axel was there, he just wanted some fairness. He didn't get it. He's getting another shot at trying to get into Iron Survivor in that big smudge that's going to happen. He didn't want it. He wants his fair shot. And Ava said, I've done all I can. He grabs Ava by the wrist and she said, do not touch me. And next thing you know, I think it was Hank who got bumped into the door when one of the members of Out the Mud hit him. Because Out the Mud and Hank and Tank have not liked each other. And she gets floored to the floor. Let me give it to you like this. You rarely see HBK come out and show himself because it's always Ava. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't want to do that anymore. If it was not Eric, well, let's say it was Eric Bischoff, or it's going to be a William Regal, it's rare for him to come out. So he decided to come out and do a rare occurrence, and he decided to give a little shove to a little bit of Eric. Let me give it to you like this. The reason I'm botching here is that I'm wondering, will they actually do something with him? Let's be honest. As it stands, he's been very vanilla. Look, I love the Native American heritage. As far as I'm concerned, it means something to me personally. Look, I'm half black, half Puerto Rican. But as far as I've been told, I also have Native American blood. And for me personally, it always means something when I see it. And when it represents something inside me. And I want to see anyone who does come from the tribes get somewhere in wrestling. But when you look at Eddie, he just didn't seem like they were doing anything really with him. It just seems like they were going to do a little bit with his Native American culture, but then they pulled back. And then they're going to do a little bit with his DJing, and then they pulled that back. But now the DJing and his heritage don't mean anything. He's sick and tired of getting screwed over. He wants a fair shot, and he's not getting it. Ava has basically gave shots to everybody else except him. And now he supposedly has to go through hell just to get what he deserves, a fair shot. That's what he thinks. And now, Ava gets floored by possibly Hank hitting the door, and he's being blamed for it by HBK, grabbing him, throwing him against a grate and saying, get the hell out of here. And everyone's scurrying away like roaches, scared. So now, what does this mean? Does he explode or not? That's the big question here for me. Finally, there's build for Eddie, but will Eddie explode? That's the question now. Because we had well, let me give it to you like this. When it came to, when we were dealing with Biggs and Jensen, about to say Jensen, Brooks basically got so sick and tired of failing and then being in a group that he actually worked with, but they broke apart and wanted to become more successful and basically left him hanging. He became a drunk. He started fighting people. Then Spears brought him in, and pretty much Spears is the one that's got him more focused, even though Spears just lost and should be done on a pay-per-view, but that's just me. The key now is Eddie Thorpe is now going possibly down that route, which could be interesting. I'm hoping it will, but this is just me. Peace.